What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to a place that will absolutely blow your mind. We are talking about Mingo Island, the most densely populated island in the entire world. Imagine an island no bigger than a football pitch, but with over 200 people living on it. It's insane. And we're going to explore every single inch of it. I promise you, this video is packed with some of the most unbelievable facts you've ever heard. You need to see this to believe it. This is one of those videos you absolutely have to stick around for. Please watch to the end, the last part will shock you. Seriously, the final secret of this island is something no one ever talks about, and it's going to change how you see everything. We spent a ton of time and resources to bring you this incredible story, so if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button right now. It means the world to me, and helps us make more crazy videos, like this one. And because I appreciate every single one of you, if you subscribe right now and comment "I subscribe" down below, I will personally reply and welcome you to the family. We're building the best community on YouTube, and I want you to be a part of it. Okay, are you ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive into the 10 bizarre wonders of Mingo Island. Let's go. Alright, first up, let's talk about the size of this place because it is seriously unbelievable. When you hear the word island, you probably picture sandy beaches, palm trees, maybe a volcano. Forget all of that. Mingo Island is basically a giant rock sticking out of Lake Victoria. We're talking about an area that is less than half a hectare. To put that into perspective for you, it's smaller than a standard American football field. I'm not even kidding. You could literally walk from one end of the island to the other in less than a minute. We actually measured it. We brought out the tape measure and everything. It's just a tiny rocky outcrop covered from edge to edge with corrugated tin shacks. There is almost no open space, no soil, no trees, nothing. Just buildings crammed right up against each other. It's a maze of metal and humanity sitting in the middle of this massive lake. It's one of the most surreal sights I have ever witnessed in my entire life. And we're just getting started with how crazy this place is. It's hard to even wrap your head around it. Imagine your local park, or the field you played soccer on as a kid. Now, imagine an entire town, a bustling community, squeezed onto that tiny patch of land. That's Mingo Island. The sheer scale, or lack thereof, is the first thing that hits you. When our boat was approaching, it looked like a floating pile of scrap metal from a distance. It's only when you get closer that you realize it's a living, breathing community. It's a testament to human adaptability, but also a mind-bending puzzle of logistics. The island itself is mostly rock, which makes building anything a massive challenge. There's no flat ground to easily lay foundations. Everything is built on an incline, pieced together with whatever materials can be brought over by boat. The lack of space is the defining characteristic of life here. Every single square inch is valuable and has been utilized. There are no backyards, no gardens, no public squares, just narrow, winding paths between the tightly packed structures. It's an urban jungle on a rock. This tiny size is what makes everything else about this island so extreme. Every other fact we're about to tell you is a direct result of this incredible lack of space. It forces a way of life that is completely different from anything you've ever seen before. It dictates the economy, the social structure, and even the personalities of the people who call this rock home. So keep that image in your mind, a football field packed with buildings. Now, let's add the people. Okay, so we've established the island is ridiculously small. Now, for the part that really breaks your brain, the population. Over 200 people live on this rock. Let me say that again. More than 200 people are crammed into a space smaller than a football field. That makes Mingo Island one of the most densely populated places on the entire planet. We're talking about a population density that is off the charts, even higher than places like Manhattan or Hong Kong. It's absolutely insane. To give you some numbers, this works out to over 65,000 people per square kilometer. For comparison, the population density of New York City is around 11,000 people per square kilometer. Mingo is more than 5 times as crowded. It's a level of human density that is almost impossible to comprehend until you are standing right in the middle of it. You are constantly surrounded by people. There is no personal space. You can literally reach out of your window and touch your neighbor's house. The community is a mix of fishermen, their families, merchants, and service providers who have all flocked to this tiny rock for one specific reason, which we'll get to in a minute. The population can actually swell even more, sometimes reaching up to 400 or 500 people during peak fishing seasons. Imagine that, 500 people on this tiny speck of land. It's a constant buzz of activity, a whirlwind of human interaction from sunrise to well past sunset. You can hear conversations from 3 houses away. Living this close together creates a unique social dynamic. Everyone knows everyone. There are no secrets on Mingo Island. Your business is everyone's business. While this can create a strong sense of community, which we'll explore later, it also means a complete lack of privacy. Children play in the narrow footpaths that serve as streets, dodging people carrying goods or heading to their boats. It's organized chaos, a system that somehow, against all odds, just works. We spent days on the island, and the sheer number of people in such a confined space never stopped being overwhelming. It's a sensory overload. The sounds of radios, people talking, boats arriving and leaving, it all blends into a constant hum. Every corner you turn, there's another group of people, another family, another story. This incredible density is the engine of the island, driving its economy and shaping its culture. But why are all these people here? Let's find out. So, why would hundreds of people choose to live in such a cramped and difficult environment? The answer is in the water surrounding them, and it's worth a fortune. The main industry, the absolute lifeline of Mingo Island, is fishing. But they're not just fishing for anything. They are after one specific, highly valuable prize, the Nile perch. This fish is like gold in Lake Victoria. A single large Nile perch can sell for hundreds of dollars, which is a life-changing amount of money in this part of the world. The waters around Mingo Island are some of the richest Nile perch fishing grounds in the entire lake. This is the sole reason for the island's existence and its insane population. Fishermen from Kenya, Uganda, and even Tanzania flock to this tiny rock because it gives them direct access to this incredible resource. It's a modern-day gold rush, but instead of digging in the ground, they're casting their nets into the deep waters of the lake. Every day, dozens of small fishing boats head out from the island before dawn. They spend hours on the lake, using nets and long lines to catch these massive fish, which can grow to be over 6 feet long and weigh more than 200 pounds. We went out on a boat with some of the local fishermen, and the physical effort required is immense. They battle the elements and the sheer strength of these fish to haul in their catch. When they return to the island, the place explodes with activity. The fish are weighed, sold to traders, and then processed right there on the shore. The entire economy of the island revolves around this single species of fish. The money from the Nile perch pays for the food, the supplies, the construction of the shacks, and everything else that has to be ferried over from the mainland. It's a high-risk, high-reward lifestyle. A good catch can make a fisherman a small fortune overnight, while a bad week can mean serious financial trouble. This dependence on a single resource makes the island's economy incredibly volatile and fragile. But for now, the Nile perch continues to provide. It's the reason this bizarre community thrives against all odds. The smell of fish is everywhere on the island, a constant reminder of the prize that brought everyone here. It's a tough life, but the potential rewards are so great that people are willing to endure the cramped conditions and the isolation. The Nile perch isn't just a fish, it's the heart of Mingo Island. But this treasure has also brought a huge problem. When you have a tiny piece of land that generates millions of dollars, what do you think happens? Conflict. Mingo Island is at the center of a long-running and sometimes heated territorial dispute between 2 countries, Kenya and Uganda. Both nations claim this tiny, valuable rock as their own. This isn't just a simple disagreement over a line on a map, it's a battle for control over the incredibly lucrative fishing grounds that surround the island. It's a geopolitical drama playing out on a stage smaller than a football field. The dispute has been going on for years. The border between Kenya and Uganda in Lake Victoria has always been poorly defined, and Mingo Island sits right in this murky, contested area. Historically, the island was uninhabited. It was only when the value of the Nile perch fishery exploded that both countries suddenly took a very keen interest in this tiny rock. The majority of the island's inhabitants are Kenyan, but the Ugandan government also claims sovereignty and maintains a police and military presence on the island. This creates a super tense and bizarre situation for the residents. They are essentially living in a disputed territory, policed by forces from both countries. We saw both Kenyan and Ugandan flags flying on the island, sometimes just feet apart. There have been periods of serious tension, with armed patrols from both sides confronting each other. Fishermen have been arrested, their boats and catches confiscated, and they've been forced to pay taxes and license fees to both governments just to avoid trouble. Imagine having to pay taxes to two different countries just to do your job. It's a constant source of stress and uncertainty for the people of Mingo. The situation can change from day to day. One day, the Ugandan authorities are in charge. The next, the Kenyans assert their control. The fishermen are caught in the middle just trying to make a living for their families. This ownership battle adds another layer of complexity and danger to an already challenging existence. Despite the tension, the fishermen from both nations have found ways to coexist, united by their shared goal of catching Nile perch. They understand that open conflict is bad for business. However, the underlying dispute remains unresolved. Mingo Island is a microcosm of larger territorial conflicts around the world, but played out in the most claustrophobic setting imaginable. It's a high-stakes game of chicken between two governments, with the fate of 200 people hanging in the balance. So, what is it actually like to live on Mingo Island day to day? We've talked about the size and the population, but let's dive into the living conditions. The homes on the island are mostly small, one-room shacks made from corrugated iron sheets and wood. They are packed together so tightly that you can hear your neighbors' conversations as if they were in the same room. There's no concept of a yard or personal outdoor space. The narrow winding alleyways are the communal backyard for everyone. These huts are incredibly compact. A typical home might be just 10 by 10 feet, housing an entire family. Inside, space is maximized in ingenious ways. Beds often double as storage, and belongings are hung from the walls and ceiling. Cooking is usually done on small charcoal stoves, either inside the hut or in the narrow space just outside the door. The smell of cooking food mixes with the ever-present smell of fish and the lake, creating a unique island aroma. Despite the cramped quarters, the residents take great pride in their homes. We saw people sweeping the narrow paths, washing clothes in buckets, and doing their best to maintain a sense of order and cleanliness in the chaos. The close-knit nature of the community means people are always interacting. Children play games in the alleyways, women gather to chat while doing chores, and men sit together mending nets or playing board games. It's a life lived in public. There is no running water or formal sanitation system on the island. Fresh water for drinking, cooking, and washing has to be brought in by boat from the mainland in large plastic jerry cans, or collected as rainwater. This is a major expense and a daily chore. For sanitation, there are a few public latrines built over the water, but conditions are basic. These challenges are simply a part of life that the residents have adapted to over time. It's a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. Living in such close proximity has forged an incredibly strong and interdependent community. People rely on each other for everything, from borrowing a cup of sugar to helping pull a sick neighbor's boat. This constant interaction and mutual dependence is the social glue that holds the island together. It's a stark contrast to the anonymous, isolated lives many people live in large cities. Even though Mingo is technically more densely populated, it's a different world entirely. You might think an island this small and remote would have no infrastructure, but you'd be wrong. Mingo Island is a surprisingly self-contained little city made of tin. It has everything its residents need to live, work, and even relax. The island is a jumble of tin roof buildings that serve all sorts of purposes. Besides the residential huts, there are several small shops, a pharmacy, a barbershop, and even a few bars and video halls. It's a microeconomy that has sprung up to serve the fishing community. The shops sell basic necessities like flour, sugar, soap, and phone credit, all of which have to be transported from the mainland by boat, making them more expensive. The bars are a central part of the island's social life. After a long day on the lake, fishermen gather to drink, socialize, and watch football on small TVs. We visited one of these bars, and the atmosphere was electric. It was packed shoulder to shoulder with everyone celebrating a good catch. It's where the community comes to unwind. One of the most surprising things we found was a microgrid for electricity. A few entrepreneurs on the island run diesel generators and sell power to their neighbors. Wires are strung precariously between the tin shacks, powering light bulbs, charging phones, and running TVs. It's not reliable and it's not cheap, but it provides a crucial link to the outside world, and a touch of modern convenience in this rustic setting. We even saw a makeshift mobile phone repair shop. Water storage is another critical piece of infrastructure. Large plastic tanks are positioned around the island to collect precious rainwater from the tin roofs. This supplements the water that has to be bought and transported from the mainland. Every drop is valuable. The entire island is a masterclass in improvisation and making the most of limited resources. Nothing is wasted, and every structure is built with efficiency and function as the top priority. The island even has a small hotel, a few basic rooms that can be rented out to visiting traders or fishermen. And there's a small clinic, or rather a pharmacy, where a health worker provides basic medical care and sells medicine. It's a fully functioning, if unconventional town. The infrastructure might be cobbled together, but it works. It provides the essential services that allow this dense community to persist and even prosper in the middle of Lake Victoria. The economy of Mingo Island is, honestly, one of the most unique and fascinating systems I've ever seen. It's a hyper-localized, cash-based economy that revolves almost entirely around a single product, the Nile perch. But, yeah, the way money flows and businesses operate in this tiny isolated space is just incredible. It's all about trade, direct services, and the constant circulation of cash earned from the lake. There's very little land and almost zero natural resources on the rock itself, so everything is imported, paid for by fish. The economic chain starts with the fishermen. When they bring their catch to the island, they sell it to middlemen or processing agents. This is where the first big cash injection happens. We saw stacks of cash changing hands right on the shore. These traders then arrange for the fish to be transported to the mainland, where it's sold for a profit in markets across Kenya, Uganda, and even exported internationally. The fishermen get a fraction of the final price, but it's still a significant amount of money. This fish money then spreads throughout the island. The fishermen use it to buy food and supplies from the local shops, pay for repairs to their boats and nets, buy fuel for their engines, and pay rent for their small shacks. They also spend it at the bars, the video halls, and on services like haircuts or phone charging. Every business on the island, from the shopkeeper to the generator operator, exists to capture a piece of that fish money. It's a closed-loop system in many ways. Because everything has to be brought in by boat, prices for goods are significantly higher than on the mainland. A bottle of soda or a bag of flour can cost twice as much. This is, well, the cost of convenience and isolation. The entrepreneurs who run the shops and services on the island are taking a risk, but they can also make a good profit by catering to this captive market of fishermen with cash in their pockets. It's pure supply and demand in a very concentrated environment. The economy is also incredibly volatile. It's directly tied to the success of the fishing season. When the catch is good, the island is flush with cash, the bars are full, and business is booming. But when the fishing is poor, the entire economy grinds to a halt. Credit might be extended, but ultimately, if the fish don't come, the money dries up. This shared vulnerability reinforces the interdependence of everyone on the island. Their economic fates are all tied together, floating on a rock in the middle of a lake. Living shoulder to shoulder with 200 other people on a tiny rock could, honestly, be a recipe for disaster. You'd expect constant conflict, arguments, and tension. But what we found on Mingo Island was the exact opposite. We discovered an incredible sense of community spirit, a deep camaraderie and cooperation that is, honestly, just essential for survival. In this impossibly tight space, you have no choice but to get along with your neighbors. And the people of Mingo have turned this necessity into a strength. This community spirit is visible everywhere. People don't just live next to each other, they live with each other. We saw neighbors sharing meals, looking after each other's children, and helping one another with daily chores without even a second thought. If someone's boat engine breaks down, others will pitch in and help fix it. If a family falls on hard times because of a poor catch, the community finds ways to support them until their luck turns. This cooperation extends to the very core of their work. Fishermen often work in groups, sharing information about where the fish are biting and helping each other pull in heavy nets. There's competition, sure, but there's also a fundamental understanding that they're all in it together. This collaborative approach is just more effective and way safer than going it alone on the vast and sometimes dangerous lake. They are a team, united against the challenges of their environment. This strong social fabric acts as an informal system of governance and social security. Disputes are often resolved by community elders rather than the official Kenyan or Ugandan police. There's a shared code of conduct, an unwritten set of rules that everyone understands and respects, because maintaining harmony is just so important. In a place with no privacy, reputation is everything. Your actions directly impact your standing in the community, and being ostracized is simply not an option. This powerful sense of belonging is perhaps the most valuable resource on the island, even more so than the fish. It's what allows people to not just survive, but to actually find joy and meaning in a life that outsiders might see as impossibly difficult. They have built a society based on mutual reliance and support. It's a powerful lesson in human connection, proving that even in the most crowded conditions, a strong community can make a home feel like a sanctuary. When a community is this isolated and this dense, it inevitably develops its own unique culture and traditions. Life on Mingo Island is a blend of the cultures brought from the mainland and new customs forged by the unique circumstances of the island itself. It's a fascinating microcosm, with its own rhythm, its own celebrations, and its own unwritten rules. These traditions are what give the island its distinct identity and help to strengthen the bonds between its residents. One of the most important cultural events on the island is the celebration of a big catch. When a boat comes in with a particularly large or valuable haul of Nile perch, it's not just a victory for that one fisherman, it's a cause for celebration for the whole community. The news spreads like wildfire, and an impromptu party often breaks out in one of the bars. Music is played, drinks are shared, and the success is enjoyed by everyone. It's a way of sharing the good fortune and reinforcing the idea that one person's win is a win for all. The language on the island is also unique. While the official languages of Kenya and Uganda are spoken, the dominant language is a rich mix of Luo, Swahili, and Luganda, peppered with fishing-specific jargon. This unique dialect is another element that binds the community together and distinguishes them from outsiders. We had a local guide help us translate, and even they were fascinated by some of the specific slang and phrases used only on Mingo. Because of the constant proximity, social etiquette is extremely important. There's a strong emphasis on greeting everyone you pass in the narrow alleyways. A simple nod or a jambo, which is hello in Swahili, is expected. Ignoring someone is considered a serious sign of disrespect. This constant acknowledgement of one another is a small but vital ritual that maintains the social fabric and reinforces the sense of a shared community space. It's a culture of constant, low-level, positive interaction. Even celebrations like weddings or holidays are adapted to the island's constraints. A wedding might not have a large venue, but it will involve the entire community, with people contributing food, music, and well-wishes from their doorways. It becomes a moving celebration that flows through the island's arteries. These shared rituals, born from isolation and density, are not just quaint customs, they are the lifeblood of the Mingo Island culture, turning a crowded rock into a vibrant and unique home. Alright, you've watched this far, and I promised you something shocking at the end. We've seen how small the island is, how crowded it is, and the incredible way of life here, but the most bizarre and shocking secret of Mingo Island is this. Right next to it, just a few meters away, is a much larger island called Migingo Island. And guess what? It's completely empty. It's covered in vegetation, it has space, it has soil, and only a handful of people live there. That's right. All this struggle, all this chaos and density on Mingo is happening right next to a nearly deserted, much more hospitable island. So why? Why don't they just move? The answer is as strange as the situation itself. The fishermen believe that the spirit, the owner of the lake and the fish, resides on Mingo Island. They believe that to abandon Mingo would be to anger this spirit and lose their good fortune. It's a deeply held superstition that keeps them tethered to the tiny rock. Another, more practical reason is piracy and security. The fishermen believe that being clustered together on the tiny barren rock of Mingo makes them safer. It's easier to defend one small, densely packed point from thieves and pirates on the lake than it would be if they were spread out over the larger forested Migingo Island. The narrow alleyways and single entry points by water make the island a natural fortress. They have sacrificed comfort and space for perceived security. We actually took our boat over to Migingo Island. It was silent. We walked through lush greenery, a stark contrast to the clanging tin and constant noise of Mingo just a stone's throw away. We found a few abandoned structures and one or two small families who had chosen to live there, but it was essentially a ghost island. The fishermen on Mingo look over at it every single day, at all that empty space, and choose to stay on their crowded rock. This is the ultimate paradox of Mingo Island. The solution to their biggest problem, the lack of space, is literally floating right next to them, completely ignored. Their entire, incredible, complex society is built on a foundation of choice, a decision to remain on the crowded rock due to a combination of deep-seated belief and practical fear. It's not that they can't move, it's that they won't. And that to me is the most shocking and fascinating wonder of Mingo Island. And that is the unbelievable story of Mingo Island, a community thriving against all odds on a rock smaller than a football field, all while a bigger, better island sits empty right next door. It's one of the craziest places I have ever been, and I hope this video gave you a glimpse into their incredible world. The resilience and spirit of the people there is truly something special. Thanks for watching. Which fact surprised you the most? Was it the size, the population density, or the secret of the empty island next door? Let us know in the comments below. We put a ton of effort into making these videos for you guys, and your support is what keeps this channel going. So if you haven't already, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button. And most importantly, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next crazy adventure we go on. We're always pushing the limits to bring you content you won't find anywhere else, and the next video is going to be even bigger. Remember, if you're just subscribing now, comment "I subscribe" down below. I'm going to be in the comments for the next few hours, replying and personally welcoming as many of you as I can to the best community on YouTube. Thank you all for your incredible support. It means the world to me. We'll see you in the next video.